Hey guys, so today I have a video that's pretty different from what I would usually do. I thought that I would address all of your guys' questions about selfies. So this is basically a selfie 101 class. Lately, I've been getting an abundance of questions about how I take selfies, what equipment I use, how I edit them, and more specifically, how I get the certain style of selfie that I've been uploading recently. You know, when it comes to taking photos, it's all about self-expression, and honestly, you can do whatever you want with it, but this is just kind of a rundown of how I take and also edit my photos. So the first thing I want to address is actually what I use to take my selfies. I use my cell phone to take my selfies, and I am specifically using the iPhone XS, and I'm using portrait mode. And I think using portrait mode is a big part in how I get this sort of like soft and dreamlike effect that I have been doing in my recent photos. And a lot of you guys have been asking like, oh, like what are you using to get that sort of effect? Like what filter? It's just the portrait mode on my iPhone. So next is what I think is the most important component of a selfie, and that is lighting. If there's bad lighting, I won't even try it. It's just not the right day for a selfie. Generally speaking, I think natural light looks the best in my photos. It has this sort of crispness in quality and also a glowiness to the colors and also your skin, and I think it just looks really nice on camera, even compared to artificial light. So indoor light or even professional lighting like my ring lights or my umbrella lights, I really hate how those look on my camera phone for selfies. It kind of drowns out a lot of the detail and also the vibrancy of a photo, and it creates a very matte and almost dull looking photo. It just doesn't look as good as when I use natural light. And here is a really helpful tip. So actually try turning around and taking a selfie with the sun behind you instead. I don't know why it does this, but it just creates this most beautiful heavenly glow, and it's like my favorite tip when I'm taking selfies. I really like to take my selfies with the sun behind me instead of in front of me, and I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it just works. So now we are going to talk about apps and editing and also some tips and tricks that I use when I'm editing my photos. And I only use 2 apps and they're really easy to use. There's no Photoshop involved because I never learned how to use Photoshop because I am very lazy. So first is, yes, the infamous meitu app, and my #1 biggest tip is do not overdo it with the filters. The purpose of meitu is that it really smooths over your photos with filters. So when you overexpose a photo and when you apply too strong of a filter, you end up losing a lot of quality and detail in the photo. So that's not my preferred method to edit photos. Again, this is completely a stylistic choice. If you want to use filters on your photos, please go ahead. Do not let me tell you what not to do, but this is again just a stylistic choice for me. So when I use meitu, I use it very minimally. When you upload a photo to be edited on meitu, it will automatically choose which filter will be the best for your photo and it'll apply it for you. Generally speaking, the filters that they apply to my photos automatically are pretty good, so I usually stick with the ones that they recommend to me. So there are 2 parts to their filters. One is the filter for like all around lighting, and then the second one is for skin. So it's more of like a beautifying feature. I mess around with the percentages of filters depending on how I see fit for the photo. I do like their skin smoothing feature. I think it looks really nice. Just a little bit I think is like the perfect touch because I think my skin tends to look really dry on camera, especially like when my lips are really chapped. So just applying a little bit of the skin filter just smooths things out and it makes my skin look a lot more plump and hydrated. So other than using the meitu app to apply a general filter for colors, I actually don't really do too much lighting edits. When you mess around with like the brightness and stuff like that on meitu, it still has that skin softening effect and you can still lose a lot of detail in the photo that way. So I like to switch to a second app that doesn't have that. So I do the majority of my edits on Snapseed. So this app is really good for just making general lighting edits to your photos, and I usually mess around with 4 things, which is the brightness, the contrast, saturation, and also sometimes highlights. But the main reason for why I love this app is actually because it has a really great selector tool. So there's a little drop that you can put on your photo to select an area. You can really fine tune your image to get the best result. So for example, I like to use the sky as a background in my photo, and a lot of the times it's really hard to capture the actual color and vibrancy of the sky in the photo. I have a pretty good example of how my photos looked before I used this selector tool versus how it looks now. As you can see in my first photo, the background is very blown out. It's basically non-existent. It's like a white void. But in my second photo, because I learned how to edit my backgrounds a little bit better, I was able to bring out a lot of the vibrancy in the sky. And that's it. This is a basic rundown of how I take my photos and how I edit them for my Instagram. I hope this video was helpful. I have just been getting a lot of questions recently, so I wanted to like touch base and, you know, hopefully make something that was helpful or informative. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys again next time.